Good morning, it's Joe La Bianca commenting on Colossians 1:29. Whereunto I also labor, striving according to his working, which worketh in me mightily. When Christians hear this, they immediately think that they must put it into practice. They take this verse about laboring and striving and working, and then they feel like, wow, look, the Bible's telling me to do this. Three things: peace, gladness, and separation. So the same writer, Paul, said this, 1 Thessalonians 4:11. It says, make it your ambition to lead a quiet life, to mind your own business, and to work with your hands, just as we told you. Does that sound a little different? There's the Bible's ambition for you: peace and quiet. Someone who's out there believing Jesus died and rose for their sins is told to make it their ambition to be quiet, have a quiet life, to mind your own business, and to get a job. And Paul said this to them before, and probably face to face. So that's a contradiction to the other verse if you view the other verse as applying to yourself. Now that's the peace. Here's the gladness. 2 Corinthians 13:9. For Paul writing, for we are glad when we are weak and you are strong. Paul wrote that the leader of all the churches, was glad for this. Now Paul said he was the leader of all the churches in 2 Corinthians. And he had a lot of stress he was conveying. But he accepted and he was happy that the Corinthians were strong and doing well and prospering, and he was weak and hungry, and he was glad when that happened. How many pastors can say that today? How many church leaders are doing that today? Starving for their people. I mean, we all read the Bible and everything, but there are verses in there that sort of come against us. Now, the last thing, separation. And this is 1 Corinthians 5, 1 Corinthians 3, 5-9. It says, what is Apollos and what is Paul? They are servants through whom you believed, as the Lord has assigned to each his role. I planted the seed, Apollos watered it, but God made it grow. So neither he who plants nor he who waters is anything, but only God who makes things grow. He who plants and he who waters are one in purpose, and each will be rewarded according to his labor. For we are God's fellow workers, and you are God's field, God's building. Now it says, by the grace of God, he has given me, I laid the foundation as an expert builder. So Paul laid the foundation of Christianity, which is Jesus Christ. Paul's understanding of Jesus is the foundation. But separation. Now this is false teaching about rewards in heaven. The rewards are not in heaven. First thing, it says we receive the inheritance of heaven as a reward for believing. Heaven is our reward. And second thing, Paul said, you have all things, whether things in heaven or on earth, whether Paul, Apollos, all things are yours. So if a person has all things already in heaven, and really potentially right now and in heaven, if he has all things, how can God give him anything more? How could there be someone in heaven with more rewards than another person if they both have all things? No, there's no rewards in heaven. Don't worry about that. That's a whole other teaching. I know I already went into it, and I'll visit it again one day. I take the Bible verse by verse here. But my point is the separation. Did you see it? You are God's field, for we are God's workers, and you are God's field, God's building. And then Paul said, we are the builders, you are the building. There's a separation between God's ministers or servants or workers and those who just believe what those ministers tell them, and those and the church receives the efforts and the dedication of all those ministers. So never let the false interpretation of the Bible or a bad Bible teacher cause you to apply to yourself verses that should never be applied to you. To be very true in our verse today, going back, Paul said the word I labor, I strive. He didn't say you. But it wasn't Paul. It was the energy of God that worked in Paul in a supernaturally unique and mighty way. It's just a little warning to be careful when you listen to someone who tells you the Bible, or when you read it yourself even. Thank you.